Alright. Metal Gear Solid 3. The classiest of all the Metal Gears. My name is Jeet. I am an alcoholic. So let's talk Metal Gear Solid 3. It starts with... It's a story of Snake, but a different Snake from the other games, aka Naked Snake. Set in the year 1964, during the Great Cold War era. So Marilyn Monroe's been dead for a while. The nation is in mourning. Being sent into the rainforests of Russia, because whatever reason, in the very first ever Halo drop, to rescue a Soviet-Russian scientist who is developing a nuclear-powered tank, because that sounds like a great idea. Rescues this scientist, but on his way out is stopped by his mentor/mother figure, who taught him everything he knows, and a crazy electric Russian colonel. Anyways, the boss has stolen 2 portable nuclear weapons from the United States and is handing them over to this crazy electric Russian colonel, who, after having the boss beat the shit out of Snake and toss him off a bridge, takes off in a helicopter and blows up the science house that crazy Russian scientist that you saved had been building giant nuclear tank out of, and Snake gets blown back to the US. Flash forward a couple months, Gorbachev is not okay with this because a US nuclear weapon just blew up a Soviet facility. Cut to another couple months forward, after recovering from falling off a bridge and I don't know, I assume some really bad injuries, maybe a couple broken ribs, broken knee. The CIA decides to send Snake back into Russia because his last excursion, his vacation there was so good. Now he's got to kill his mom / the boss / his mentor / I don't know, it's kind of weird. They had some really weird incestuous shit, which I'm not okay with. And her family of circus freak friends, which consist of a man that can shoot bees out of his mouth, a crazy disjointed Spider-Man that can go invisible, my grandpa, and a ghost. Oh, and crazy space rocket man, which is just a testament to how Kojima is in love with David Bowie. And he has a new mission. He has to sneak back into Russia, stop crazy electric colonel and his super rocket-powered nuclear tanks from starting World War III. So Snake lands back in Russia via a drone, which I'm pretty sure didn't exist back then, but whatever, and has to make his way to a different science house. This one that got blown up. To meet up with 2 KGB agents. On his way there, he meets his mommy again, and his mommy's all like, yo girl, you gotta stop. If you try to do whatever the US told you to do, I'm gonna kill you. She beats him up, take his gun, abusive relationship, and then has her horse stomp on his hand. Super abusive relationship. And then just wanders off. But as the rebellious teenager that Snake is, he's like, nah, ma, I'm gonna do this anyways. Also, after a horse stomps on your hand, I'm pretty sure you need medical attention. Not when you're Snake, because you're I don't know, badass. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah. Anyways, he wanders off to this laboratory, factory, science house, and he meets up with this woman named Eva, who insists that she's supposed to be there because Adam couldn't make it. And that seems kind of, to Snake. But she saves his life from some Russians. Also, she gives him some guns, and he's crazy sexually attracted to guns. Then they fall asleep for a while. He wakes up. Eva's gonna leave in the morning on her super cool Triumph motorcycle, which I still want one to this day. But then this unit of young soldiers shows up, led by this really weird looking little white kid with white hair, and as a young person, you should not have white hair. So I think he's an albino. It's called the Young Ocelot Unit, Ocelot Juniors, Little Ocelots. Let's go with that. The Little Ocelots. They show up, Snake beats them all up, and then big Little Ocelot puts his gun to Eva's head because he caught her for some reason. Smells her like in some really creepy horror movie. It's like, your perfume is super cool. And Snake's like, nah, go away. Eva beats the guy, and he's like, no, you go away. So he does. Him and Eva leave. Smash cut to Snake moving through this forest, doing his snaky stuff. He's gonna infiltrate and interrogate another Russian soldier, scientist. There's a lot of Russian soldiers. He's gonna interrogate another scientist. He puts on this scientist outfit and just wanders in, and nobody questions him. He's like, yo, I don't care, girl, because I've been building this other giant nuclear powered weapon that has 2 legs, but Volgin, the crazy electric colonel, my bad, his name's Volgin, is wasting all his money on this other super powered jet powered tank, and he's super jealous. He's like, I'm just gonna send this over to the States because I have a friend there. Anyways, then he goes on to tell him about where Electric Colonel got all of his money. This thing called the Philosopher's Legacy, which is a ton of money that he inherited from his father. He gets this call from Eva on their 1968 cell phone, and she's like, I'm gonna meet you at the top of this mountain. You climb up this mountain, there's like a 3.5 minute piece where this amazing song plays. I'm gonna wait while you guys play it.
What a thrill.
No.
At the very bottom of the mountain is this giant base, Groznygrad, which is a really cool name, that Volgin had built with Philosopher's Legacy. Remember that? Talked about this a second ago. That the Russian scientist mentioned. Snake sneaks into Groznygrad, but because he's apparently not a very good soldier, he gets caught. He gets tortured. While he's being tortured, Eva in disguise, which we totally forgot to mention, gets in the way when Electric General Colonel Volgin is like, boss, stab him in the eye. And Tatiana, which is Eva's disguised name, it's like, no, he's had enough. And then Ocelot's like, nah, you're a spy, I'm gonna shoot you in the head. And then Snake gets in the way, the gun fires off in the air, Snake gets like a hot gun to the eye, and then he uses an eye patch, becomes the sexiest man in video game history. Snake can get it, okay? He can get it. Then everyone leaves because there's some emergency in another part of the place. Snake tricks a guard to get out, a guard who later has babies who poop a lot because he has severe IBS. Travels through a river filled with ghosts and re-infiltrates the fortress. Snake now has to blow up this fortress because that's where nuclear powered tank is. He places C3, not C4, C3 because this is the 60s and they haven't figured out that last number yet. Places this stuff on all the fuel tanks, tries to blow them up, but before he can get it on the very last one, he's spotted by Storm, his mom, and Baby Ocelot. And they just beaten up Eva because they found out Tatiana was Eva, and they're like, yo, this girl was trying to give our secrets away. And he's like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And Snake's like, nah. And then they fight. Imagine they're fighting right now. Eva gets her super awesome Triumph motorcycle. They escape. The place explodes because there's explosives everywhere. Snake puts some on the fuel tanks to summon the thing. Hazard, the hangar. Volgin gets into nuclear jet tank and starts chasing you. And now it's your time to fight the tank. So you're riding around this motorcycle shooting Volgin and the nuclear tank in the face. Eventually he dies because he's actually not that great. So you keep moving, he's dead, tank is gone, don't worry about it. You keep moving through the forest, something explodes, I don't remember what it was, doesn't matter. Eva gets impaled on a tree, and you gotta like sneak through, gets her to the beach. because that's where Eva called some planes to pick them up. But when you're there, your mom and her horse show up, and she's like, nah, I'm gonna fight you one last time. So yo, I just called a bunch of planes to bomb this very spot. You have 10 minutes. You gotta kill me. There's actually a cinematically beautiful fight between the two. There's white petals everywhere. That as soon as you defeat this woman who basically raised and turned you into what you are, they become blood red. You go back to Alaska with your new girlfriend, Eva, and y'all You wake up in the morning and Eva's gone. She left you this tape. Eva was the code name of an American agent who just never showed up. She took it on herself so she could get the legacy for China. Snake goes on to meet the president and shakes his hand and accepts a new title as Big Boss, whereas his mentor had been called the Boss, and goes until he flowers on the grave of his lost mentor, the greatest hero he and his country had ever known. I think that's it.